Hey, folks, how's it going? We're live on the air. This is another episode of Address This Mess brought to you in the 6th studio. We've got a special guest today. We've got Chris Gaskin. He's waving to the camera for those of you that are just
I'm
listening
here.
audibly.
For all the people working out, listening to this.
Just in town for one night only, doing a show down at Wings and Things.
Yeah, I don't even have time to like see my friends. And like
Just
do any
us.
of that. Just do some promo, do my show.
And get out of town, hey? Scot-free.
Like I
Make
got
off
in,
with the loot.
I got in town and saw my mom. Like get in town, my mom's drunk. The second I'm in town, like
Celebrating.
she's pretty much.
We'll call it celebrating.
Oh,
Nice.
do you want to bang out those sponsors?
The show is brought to you by Onnit. Onnit is an online supplement store. Pills for your body and your mind. I take it. He takes it. Your mother takes it. Onnit.com. Go to the dressthismess.com website. Click on the banner. Go through and get yourself some pills. If they don't have what you want, you can go to Amazon.com. The show's brought to you by Amazon. Online superstore. If you want anything, probably won't get it before Christmas at this point. You're too late. But you can still shop it. Go to dressthismess.com. Click on the banner. Get yourself anything you want from Amazon.com. And if you want an audiobook, they have a whole nother division set up called Audible. Audible is an audiobook superstore, like everything. And it's if you don't want to read your books, you want to listen to it, you're a busy person, you're on the go, you're a professional, but you still want to be smart, then you can get an audiobook. Go to addressthismess.com, click on the banner, and I think you get one free download.
Yeah, you get one free book.
One free audiobook.
Your first month's free and you get one free book. Yeah.
Help yourself. Are you tired of paying too much for razors? Well, do I have a deal for you? DollarShaveClub.com can send you affordable razors to your door. Quality razors, folks, for $3. $3 in Canada?
Yeah, I think it's
$3 in Canada, $1 in the States. These are quality razors. Go to addressthismess.com, click on the banner, DollarShaveClub.com. DollarShaveClub.com. Hey! DollarShaveClub.com.
No, those are out of the way.
That's who I use, clearly.
See that. Chris Gaskin's a huge fan of them.
Chris Gaskin shaves with Kleenex.
Going back to what I was saying about YouTube. So I noted, like, when we were looking at running ads for it, you get like a monthly cap limit. Mm-hmm. And I think what they do is they say they only charge you for whether or not if people have watched the ad or not. So if people click that skip ad button, you don't get charged for it.
Really?
It's like every time, if someone watches the whole thing, it takes like 10 cents they charge you or
I
something.
wonder how far it has to go into it.
Well, here's the thing, here's my kind of theory behind it. So they charge you 10 cents a view. You set a monthly limit. You say like $100 a month you'll spend. I'm pretty sure, like, sometimes you pull up the ad or like pull up a video and there's an ad and it won't let you skip it. Mm. I think that's YouTube, and I think what they're doing is making sure they get your $100 limit out of you. So if you're coming close to the end of the month and you still have like $50 or $40 left because everyone's just been clicking skip on your shitty ad, I think they start making people watch it where they can't skip so that they always get the maximum amount of money out of you.
It's a interesting theory.
I mean, like, my Facebook ads didn't even go to like the full amount that I set. Like, I set two for $10, one for $20, and they each topped out at like $9.98, like $19.95. It's like, give me the extra 5 cents. That's 5 more views.
Right.
Like, fucking.
Right.
Give me those goddamn views. Because if one of those people sees it and goes, oh, I want to see this guy perform.
It's all paid for.
Yeah.
Itself, yeah.
And I mean, granted, those ads didn't bring in a lot in Kamloops and Kelowna, but they paid for themselves.
Right.
I had enough people come through just because of the ads, just because they saw the ad. And then after they were like, yeah, you didn't even do anything from the ad. It's like, well, of course not, because I work on my craft.
Right.
And they were like, yeah, it was like fucking fantastic. But it was, I just put out that ad because I was like, well, let's see what happens. Because at the very least, even if it doesn't bring a bunch of people to the show, it could bring enough people to like my Facebook fan page, or at least bring me into their peripheral for something in the future that maybe they just couldn't come to this one. So it's like the reach that I got on them. And I don't even know exactly how Facebook's views for videos work. Like, I don't think you need to watch a lot of it for it to count as a view.
I think you get a lot of views from, like if you don't change your settings, anytime you scroll over a video, that would really list it out there. Yeah, it starts playing. I think that's a view.
Yeah.
I think they just ding it up as a view because you look and.
Well, with the YouTube ones, I always found that any ones that you can't skip are just 15 seconds long.
The ads?
Yeah.
That's not true. I've seen ones that are like 30 and a couple that were like a full 60 spot ad.
That you couldn't skip?
Yeah.
I just don't watch that video at that point. Nothing's worth that.
Well, that's what I was...
Fuck those guys.
I've literally, every 60-second ad, I go, do I have to pee right now? Yes, I do. Regardless if I have to pee. I just...
go to the bathroom and try to squeeze it out.
To spite it, most of what I do is I'll just pull up another tab and hit mute.
Right. And let that thing run through.
Just to not play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's what I was thinking about for like Pornhub starting to run ads. And if they made you watch the full 30-second ad before, you're like, listen, lady, I'm never going to watch 30 seconds of this video once it gets started. Spend more time watching the ad than it is doing the deed.
See, I've been seeing someone, so I haven't like watched porn in like 8 months.
Nice.
Oh,
so like that the second you said they're showing ads in front of porn, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
who's paying for Pornhub Premium?
How's porn making money? How about that? I think that was our first ever podcast.
Yeah,
baffling.
I think that's what was on there. It still hasn't been solved, folks. 2 years later, we're still not sure how.
It'd have to be like cam stars, like people who do like the live cam, and it's like,
well, I think what we were discussing was there's a huge
send me tokens, I'll show you my pussy. Like, it's just shit like that, you know.
There's a huge contingency of guys that are obsessed with it, and they want new. They don't care.
They don't want to recycle
about jerking off. They want to know that it happened yesterday. What they're watching.
Right. Speaking of filming, are you submitting anything to any festivals? Like, have you seen that? What's that slow comedy festival? SLO. What's that?
Have
you heard of it?
I'm actually.
It keeps coming up on my Facebook. Keep like asking to submit videos. Oh, comedy. I'll pull it up here behind us.
San Luis Obispo.
San Luis. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
This. Where is this?
So here's the thing: is a lot of the comedy festivals down in the States are just comedy competitions, and with the submissions, like, you have to pay money to submit to them.
Right.
I think
that's kind of their scam, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Right.
Like, it's not like
it's the rub.
It's not like Halifax. It's not like Winnipeg. It's not like JFL in Vancouver, Toronto, or Montreal. Like, it's not like there's a couple other comedy festivals that actually just, it's not like Funny Fest in Calgary or YYC in Calgary, that both bring performers in, pay them a little bit of money, put them on quality shows, and showcase, like, here's some good Canadian talent.
So these competitions are like, bring 5 minutes. If you go to the next round, make sure you have another 5 minutes.
Is this
not even? No. If you go to the round, now you get to do 10 minutes. So see if you can expand on that 5 and do well. So it's like, if you look at World Series of Comedy, which is like the big one in Vegas, they do a bunch of satellite competitions, and then the winners get put into what's called the main event. But they have 2 weeks in Las Vegas. Or, no, sorry, I guess it's over 1 week, but they've got 2 or 3 days in that 1 week where people just come from around the world and do their set on those days to try to get into the main event of it. So, I mean, it's all like, it costs $75 to apply for World Series. Like, it costs $25 to apply for other ones.
What's JFL? See, they're looking for submissions right now.
That's just for laughs, yeah.
Yeah, I know what JFL is. I was saying,
What's JFL?
what? Because you're talking about how much it costs to submit videos.
How much is JFL?
So there's no charge for that because they aren't running a competition, and what they do is they bring in big stars and they make a good amount of money. Also, they get subsidies off of and tax benefits for putting up Canadian performers.
Right.
But the problem that I've always had with it is the fact that those apply to the same rules as like our broadcasting standards. So, I mean, last year, only 25% of the performers at Just for Laughs were Canadian.
Really?
And I was like, I don't think, like, they could talk about how they support Canadian stand-ups, but I don't think that's enough. I don't.
No.
Is the talent certainly there though?
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
What would be their ulterior motive then?
And I mean, the year before that, what they usually do is put on the Canadians before the Americans in shows, because they expect that the Americans are going to do better than the Canadians.
So
but then, like the
Canadians,
the past couple years, they've had to like flip it around, and like, they'll put up some of the Americans first, and then put on the Canadians, and then whoever's headlining that show, because like a bunch of the Americans just couldn't fucking follow it.
Right.
Like Canadian stand-up comedy is pretty much right where American stand-up comedy is at now, except for the fact that we don't have nearly as many people in this country, so there's a limited amount of stage time for everyone. But the amount that people pull out of it, and the amount of fantastic comics. And the other thing is, like, trying to get Canadians to support their local arts is a battle in its own. Because they always want to see the big names. And it's like, if you want like a big Canadian name, they have to become a big name in the States, which is bullshit. Because you have big names in England that never come here. You've got big names in Australia that never come here, that sell out theaters, that sell out like the O2 Arena in London, that you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know their names unless you were over there, because they're huge over there. Because those places do a much better job of supporting local arts than Canada does. And it's not, I love my country, but it's like, man, I wish more people would support shit like that.
Do you think that's just due to the density, though? Like, you're talking about, like, Europe. Like, Europe's density is way bigger than us. We have, like, the biggest landmass
yes.
out of anywhere, and we've got, like, the least amount of people. Like, I think Canada as a nation is, like, the...
Per capita, yeah. We got the most land per person.
The most land per person, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're the second biggest landmass in the whole show. And we got, like, less than New York State, I think. Yeah. Less people than New York.
Yeah, less people than California State, or like around the same. And yeah, that is a very valid point, and that is something.
Well, it seems to me that GFL should just be judging on the quality of comedian, though. There should be a class of comedian that you've either rose to or haven't rose to yet, and they put you on based on that. Unless you are somehow crazy famous, and maybe you're not that good. Looking at you, Aziz. But you can draw like a motherfucker.
I think he's all right.
He's all right.
I think he's all right.
Yeah, I don't think he should be playing Madison Square Garden, but good for him.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
I agree.
You have to understand the reason that he plays that, though, is he also has a specific crowd that'll come out. First of all, it's like young college fans that like...
It's one thing to draw, it's another thing to perform.
That like that thing. But he also has, like, you know, the Indo-American community, and like anyone who's East Indian will go out and see him just because of the fact that he's East Indian. Try that. Like, that's impossible for white people.
Yeah, but
you
he's
like
he's a comedian with a PR firm.
Yeah. But that guy worked his ass off.
For sure. He deserves everything he gets.
And I knew about that guy back in like 2005 before anyone knew about him, just because of these
How'd you get the inside scoop on him, hey?
I knew about these. Well, first of all, I'm a bit of a comedy fan in my own right, but I knew about him because they used to do these short video competitions at UCB in New York and Los Angeles.
What's UCB?
and it's Upright Citizens Brigade. It's like a little black box theater company,
Okay.
and they were doing these video competitions, and he was working with Rob Hubel, who, if you've seen,
He's the call that a soup kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah, he's also like the really big douchey guy in I Love You Man,
Yeah.
who like sends Paul Rudd like the grandma squirting video, like
Yeah.
like that's Rob Hubel.
Yeah.
And they were doing the whole competition was like you'd submit your video, and if it was top 5, you got to continue on next month and do another episode and I guess you'd make probably a little bit of money doing it, but it was like it was a fantastic idea because it was just something different. But him and Rob Hubel were doing this series about, it was called Shutterbugs. It was about a like an acting firm, but all they handled was kids, but they just spoke to them like adults, which made it hilarious. It was like almost like in Billy Madison when he's cursing at the children. Like it was that type of thing. Like they'd be sitting down with a 5-year-old going like, if you were going to make it, you would have fucking made it by now. All right. So it was very funny. And that's how Aziz Ansari kind of came into my peripheral. And then I've been watching how his career's been progressing ever since. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of his performance style, but I totally see what people see in him. I totally do. It's the same as like any other big name. I see what people will see in them. I might not agree, and I might not be like a big fan of someone, but I definitely...
Who's your favorite comic right now?
Right now?
That's a nice little melody in the background.
So somebody playing the recorder?
Right now, I'd probably say it's a toss-up between Bill Burr and Mark Maron.
And who's your favorite Canadian comedian?
My favorite Canadian comedian? I mean, you've got John Bueller. You've got Simon. Like, there's so many great,
Right.
great. I think I'd say probably right now the best. I don't know if I'd say he's my... I'd say he's my favorite too. It's probably Ivan Decker in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Because that is a guy who...
He seems like a guy just made for showbiz, man.
I heard Dino's the shit.
Dino Archie?
Yeah.
Dino's not Canadian. Dino's
Oh,
great.
really?
Dino's fucking fantastic.
He's from LA or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's from LA, but he's been working out in Vancouver for like the past 3 years. And he's great, absolutely.
To me, Ivan Decker
just
looks
won...
like he should have his own like TV show though. Like he looks like
He looks
such
like
a
he lost all the
professional guy.
roles John Mulaney got.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yeah.
But John Mulaney is like, I don't know, he was a head writer as soon as he walked into SNL like a year into it. They're like, oh, you're just going to take all the reins here.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Did you watch his new one?
I did. And
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it was a lot better than New in Town. Because
Yeah.
I thought New in Town, really, he didn't go over a lot of stuff. And the amount of people that were talking like, oh, it's so great. And I was like, where? Show me where it's great. It's, he's getting laughs. Yeah, he's doing well. But where's that person?
Yeah.
I know there's more to that person.
Well,
And
he's
then-
just like that 5-tool player, though. Like, he can do everything in comedy, not just stand-up. So it's like, he doesn't have to completely hit it out of the park. And you're still looking at this guy like, well, you got to give it up where it's due. This guy's doing at least reasonable stand-up while writing some of the funniest sketches ever and putting a show together on Fox and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's played every game in comedy.
What movies has he been in?
I don't think he's
done
had
any
any big
movies?
roles. He's more of a
I don't-
writer than
yeah.
a performer.
But it seems like they all progress and end up getting in there.
As an actor, I don't know. Like, he worked really close with Bill Hader, but he would just write for Bill Hader, and Bill Hader would be able to portray it because he's more like a Jim Carrey,
Okay.
and Mulaney's just the brain behind it.
Yeah. I don't think that guy is really interested in the acting side of it. I think it's like Bill Burr. Like, Bill Burr's not interested in acting at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
The fact that he was on Breaking Bad was more because he was a huge fan of that show and was just like, get me in
Yeah.
on that.
Well,
And
it's
I
like
mean,
Mitch
Well, I've heard
Hedberg-
him say he takes the deals because, I mean, it's probably good money.
Yeah.
But he was in that
Yeah.
Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah.
He was in like some weird Piranha 3D.
Really?
Fucking yeah. Like
Well, he was also, he played like a straight man, like not the funny guy type cop in Date Night
right.
with, was that Tina Fey and
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell.
Yeah.
And that was like a
Kill
serious
shot.
role. But the only reason he got that serious role was specifically because of Breaking Bad. He would have never got that role if it
That's
wasn't
kind of
for
how that
Breaking
business
Bad.
works, though.
Because people would have just typecasted him as like, you know, the weird redheaded neighbor dude.
He was really good on Chappelle's show.
Oh,
I didn't realize he was the white guy, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Besides him and Christian Finnegan or whatever. He did so good, like when he's the panel moderator for at the racial draft, and they're just like, oh, up next, he's just playing the total white guy, and then it goes to fucking Most Def can act.
Oh yeah, Most Def is a great actor.
In the Chappelle show, he was playing funny characters, man. That character he plays in the racial draft.
I think black guys are just cut
Hilarious.
out for the entertainment industry, aren't they?
No. Probably
Not
show you
all.
a few that wouldn't make it. I promise. I promise. They can dunk, but
That, by the way, that's how you know that Alex has read Judy Carter's comedy book right there. Yeah, I read the first page. It said if you're black, just skip the rest of this. You're good.
if you're black.
Well, I know Mitch
It's like-
Hedberg does a thing about, like, remember he used to do that joke about coming out to Hollywood. He came out as a stand-up comedian, and then everyone just ends up asking him to do other shit. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay, well, can you write? Well, can you act? You gonna host a show? He's like, I just want to do stand-up, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, let's move on to another topic. How about this cheetah that's let loose in the Kootenays right now?
In the area.
How in the
pretty cool.
hell
That happens
do
more than you
lose a
think.
cheetah?
Yeah.
There's so many people that want exotic animals illegally.
Do you think that's
All over
someone's?
the
Is that
place.
someone's pet? Does someone
Oh,
own
yeah.
a cheetah? in the
Absolutely.
Kootenays?
Yeah.
Who in the Kootenays owns a cheetah?
Well, there's people all over the world that have them as pets, so it's possible to domesticate it. And someone can get fascinated by that anywhere. Ship one in
How much
illegally.
money do you have to buy a cheetah, and where do you go to buy a cheetah?
I'd assume
Probably
good
global.
money, but I'd assume you could probably get one fairly easily on the black market.
Especially if you're looking
I
to
always
spend your
hear about
drug
the black
money that you
market.
can't put on paper.
Right.
You get an illegal cheetah.
Yeah.
But do they?
It's like Dante.
how much?
and Grandma's
how
Boy.
much-
People get past the dog, bro. Nobody fucks with a lion.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to get a cheetah? Well, you can't just buy it at Home Hardware.
Well,
here.
where do you,
You
where do you
ship
get
it in
'em?
illegally. It's like bringing in pure Colombian Bam Bam.
You think the SPCA is
Where-
gonna?
But everyone talks about the black market, and I don't think it's that easy to find. Like people who talk about like children, they're like, oh yeah, there's huge money in trafficking kids. You're like, okay, that's fine. Have you ever met anyone who ever wanted to buy a kid? Have you ever met anyone who's like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a kid on the black market? Then two, how do you even go to begin about asking where you get that? Like I wouldn't even know the first person to ask. I'm like, hey, so look, I'm looking to get a kid. I'm not really
Yeah, but-
qualified to adopt. So where do you have any place I should start?
You want to know why you don't know anyone, and you want to know why because you aren't that fucking person. If you were that person, you'd know.
Sniffing it out. Look at how funny that is. Go up.
Where?
These are the ones that are illegal. Giraffe a day.
Like, here.
E.g. giraffes. Oh, thank you for the Latin term for giraffe, you assholes.
Let me put
By
it
the
this
way,
way,
you can't have
and
one.
I don't wanna like go ahead and like
Species. Links,
suggest.
links.
I don't want to suggest that you do anything or whatever, but I'm gonna say you work at a mill, right, Alex?
Yeah.
How many people do you know that sell cocaine?
Bunch.
You know what I mean? Like if you're in that environment where that's available,
You saying cheetahs come in the drug game?
I'm not saying in the
No,
drug
he's talking
game,
about for
but
the kids.
I'm saying
The
like
Cheetahs come in the cheetah game.
I'm saying those people that want that cheetah are gonna find a way to get
I
that
bet you could
cheetah.
find like one person in each town that if they could do it, they would do it. Like if they had the money, they'd bring in some sort of weird exotic animal. I don't think it's as few and far
Absolutely.
between as you think it is.
Cheetahs are extremely prohibited.
They don't like them.
Prohibited in
hanging
BC.
around.
Cheetah, right there. You're not allowed to have them.
Oh, of course.
What do you think that thing's doing out in the wild?
Is
right
it gonna
now,
make?
though?
Imagine driving down the highway. Like, do you see the pictures of it? Someone was driving down the highway and was like, "Holy shit!" and just snapped a picture. And the cheetah, its head's doing a 180, looking back at him with just this death stare. And you're like,
He's probably
"Holy
so choked. He's like, it's
fuck."
fucking freezing out here. Where am I?
Have they found it? We should probably look into that.
But it's like when you have like that type of animal. I mean, what kind of a hunter would it be in this type of environment? You know what I mean?
don't know. It'd be fun
what
to
would
watch.
it do?
Probably get a couple death matches out of it
Do
before
you think
you
it
gotta
could take
retire.
down a bear? I don't know if a cheetah.
I think it could elude a bear very easily.
Oh, of course,
I
it
think.
could get away.
Yeah.
That's
Not like
an
run
issue.
away, but even just like
Dangling.
in the fight.
Oh yeah.
Be
yeah.
like, yeah.
Look at that thing, man.
Yeah,
That's a lean cat though, man. That's a 155er.
I don't know if he's even making lightweight.
I think bears are like light heavies at least.
cheetahs are very lean cats, though. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
they can run so fast.
Well, the poor cheetah, like
Who is this message going out to? Some guy who's just been trying to be the crocodile hunter for the last 10
Slowly
years. This
back
is my
away.
chat. If you spot the animal, our best advice is to slowly back away, retreat to a safe place, and call immediately. Do not try to capture or chase it.
this is not your fight, sir.
Oh, God. Dude, there's probably some people down south there just getting amped up, eh? Wanting to go catch this thing.
I bet you there's a guy who's like one of the cheetahs got out. He probably has like 4 more. And he's like, fuck. Now I got to deal with this.
But that's also the type of animal that you could legally probably just like, oh, there's the cheetah, shoot it and kill it, and wouldn't get
Yeah.
fined or anything because it's it's like magpies.
Yeah, maybe hunters are like, hey, this is fucking free game. What
Yeah.
if you're the guy who went out, hunted the cheetah,
Yeah.
It's
destroyed it,
Yeah.
and was like, hey, I took care of it.
yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You want my name? So 2 L's.
Totally, you pay a lot of money to go there and try to get one of these things. It's right in your backyard. I
But-
guess all you got to do is bring a little kid with you and say the thing was going to eat the kid.
How sweet would it be if you realized that there was just like, they started seeing like 3 or 4 of them, and then like 6 of them, and then all of a sudden someone that didn't just lose a cheetah but reintroduced them, or just introduce them to this
Just
thing
brought 'em
with
to
like
it.
20 of them.
I don't think they'd make it through the winter though. I don't know.
man.
Like, where is it in BC?
It's in like the Kootenays.
Yeah.
So,
Southeast.
so-
It's
Cranbrook, I think.
yeah, that's as south as you can get actually.
Yeah.
So
In
it might
Canada.
be receiving a bit of mild climate right now.
Might be at the border.
No, you can see snow in the picture. I
They
mean,
have
it's-
not identified the cheetah yet. It may be Annie. They're looking at.
That cheetah will stalk little kids. I talked to him. I tell you, you see it in his eyes.
He has no problem taking down a kid.
Look at that bad
So-
motherfucker.
Wait, is this a cheetah that just like escaped
They don't
like a
even
zoo
know.
or something?
No, this is somebody had this. They don't know who. Obviously, you're not stepping forward. Be like, if you find my
Yeah.
cheetah,
Yeah.
I'll give you $500.
Missing posters.
Please do not hurt it. He's friendly. Don't approach him from the left. He becomes a completely different cat when you approach him from the left.
Oh God.
But it's like
God
with that
knows.
type of like a goddamn cheetah is fucking. By the way, the whole we haven't identified the cheetah. Or I don't know how many fucking cheetahs are in this area. All right, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, is it this one or that one?
I think it's the cheetah. I think that's all you need to know.
It must be like.
What if he starts fucking other cats? What if he fucks a cougar?
Do
And
they
then you get this
crossbreed?
weird hybrid. They
Don't,
hybrid.
don't those things all just die?
No,
though?
they hybrid cats all the time. Like
Do they?
mules, like what is it? Donkeys or mules? Are like a horse and a donkey?
That's a
Is
mule.
a mule.
Mm.
But
But
mules can't.
they can't procreate.
You can
Oh,
make
okay.
them,
You
but
can
they
make 'em,
can't
but
carry
can't.
on.
Right, right.
But I think with cats, they can kind of.
Can
Well,
ligers
someone-
procreate?
someone's done it.
I
don't
know,
think-
but they've done it like a bunch of
Is
different
it
ways.
that Liger Hercules? Have you seen that guy? He's huge.
No.
Oh, it's
No, like a
Big cat?
liger is an actual thing.
That's what I
Crossbreed.
said, the
Yeah.
world's biggest
He's
liger,
talking about
Hercules,
the
so
big
have you
one,
seen it?
and they have a real name
Hercules,
for
right?
it.
Oh,
Hercules the
yeah,
liger.
probably.
Wonder if they always come out like that.
922-pound liger. This is Hercules. He's a fucking monster.
A little more lion than tiger, or tiger than lion.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
But look at him.
but that's
he's
big.
like trying to grow a mane.
That's also
He's like, I haven't shaved in 2 weeks, bro.
that's basically the liger version of me right there.
Dude, look at that gut on that motherfucker.
I know. What
Is
are
he
they
like
feeding him?
being overfed, and maybe he's
Probably
not
just
supposed
trying to get his
be?
weight
Some
up,
weird
right?
sideshow. Like,
They're
look at
just
how
like-
big these things are.
Get him up.
Hey,
Well-
you fed him 3 fucking deer today.
He's not even having a hunt for these things. It does look pretty sad though. Like
Well, he-
seeing cats in captivity.
I
Was
think
it the Calgary Zoo this summer?
I think it's just because he made the weight cut previously. That's why he's bulking back up. You know.
I was at the Calgary Zoo this summer, and you look at those things, and they're in like a decent sized cage, but nothing like you would not see that thing get up to speed in there.
No,
And
not
you're
in
like,
captivity.
Oh, you're
no.
like, that's lame. Like,
But
so
I think
look
it's
at
super
this
cool to
tubby
have them in,
man. Of course, I'm happy I get to go see him. Don't get me wrong. Look at that thing.
Well, look at how big are the balls on that broad? Like, come on.
That picture.
To think that you're going to create a hybrid that no one really knows anything about. It works, and then you think you're going to domesticate this 1,000-pound animal, and he's not going to turn on you. Even if he doesn't as a kid, maybe when he turns 13 or something.
Yeah, when he's
He
going
just
through those
doesn't like you
teenagers and he's
anymore.
rebelling and he's like, fuck that, I want to
Maybe he just holds you down and tries to fuck you. Either way, it's happening. It's just happening. I don't get the balls on people like that.
No, the animals creep me out. Like dogs, I'm fine with dogs because I feel like a dog, it has like one kind of area of an attack, the dog's mouth. For generally the most part, dogs, they can kind of claw. They don't generally have really bad claws.
Yeah.
So if like you get into it with a dog, like you can just pin it down, like grab the throat, kind of overpower it and pin it down.
Dogs don't seem to have an instinct for the throat either.
Yeah, cats on the other hand, like a cat can bite you. You grab a cat by the neck, it's gonna claw your arm to shit, man. Like anything with claws, I'm afraid of. Like I
Those
would
are
rather
talons.
fight a dog than a cat any day.
Well, and here's
small
the thing:
cat?
is like,
I don't know, cats just scare me, man. I'm so afraid, and I get that shaky hand near cats whenever I go to pet them, because you're like, you see it, you're like, okay, here it comes, and you go to pet it, you get that little shake in your hand, and they sense that they're on you. You're like, oh shit.
Cats are absolute wasted potential.
I can't keep my composure.
Especially house cats. I get why they were cool and why they came about, because those things do nothing. And then if you step to it and scare it,
Yeah.
it is up your wall and across your ceiling.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're capable of that? And you sit around licking your asshole all day?
Yeah.
Like, you're this next level character that can pull off anything. Nimble as fuck, naturally.
Yeah.
No, I can't be bothered.
But
I'm just going to lounge. I'm sleeping 23 hours today.
that's also because that's an animal that doesn't actually have to hunt.
Right.
I mean, if you have like the difference between feral cats and feral dogs, like there are way more feral cats that can survive than feral dogs because they are immensely better hunters. They are immediately better at hunting, strictly because of the retractable claws and because of the fact that they are very nimble, quiet creatures.
They can eat smaller stuff too, right?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
But so can dogs. And the thing is if you look at dogs, especially domesticated dogs, have learned their hunting techniques from domesticated cats. In fact, the number of dogs was insanely high before they brought in and introduced the cat to North America.
Yeah.
And then that number dwindled way faster because in the same space that there's a dog and a cat that are hunting for food, the odds are that the dog will get the food before the cat is very minimal.
Maybe the dog could just eat the cat once the cat gets the food, you know? Come up, let's sneak attack.
Only the strong survive.
I don't know what a dog could kill if you just let a dog out. Like what a dog's going to find and take down. Like I don't think it could even catch a rabbit, most of them, right? Can they?
I don't know.
They'd probably be pretty relentless.
No, I think once they got a hold of it, but I guess it depends on what type of dog too, right? Like my dog Finley's just an overweight chocolate lab. I think he's pretty docile. I don't think he's getting
Well, he'd last a long time. Then he'd lean out, see what he's capable of. Get
Well,
that
like
hunger in his eye.
I hate raccoons. I fucking hate raccoons.
I don't think I've
And
ever come
What
across
happened,
one.
Chris?
Nothing really happened. I've had raccoons chase me before.
Successfully?
No, not successfully. He
on
didn't
the-
fucking get me. But you
A
know,
raccoon put you on the run?
Yeah.
How old were you?
How old was I?
It was last
This was
week,
3
wasn't
months
it?
ago. Fuck. All right.
Well, think about if you don't want to toe punt a raccoon in the face.
Yeah.
Then you better take a couple steps the other way.
Right.
I think I'm running initially until I get I'm backing up anyway.
Yeah,
and
until
then
you
be
got
like,
your
what am I going
ground,
to? Okay, if you're coming, I'm kicking.
Yeah.
But a raccoon's about the size of like a small dog, or sorry, no, a medium-sized dog, not a small dog. Like a big raccoon can be about the size of a border collie. All right, they can be large animals, and they're vicious.
Rabies. That's all.
They're
I think.
very
That's
vicious.
the thing. They
bite.
carry that little Komodo dragon
They-
quality where it's like, oh, fuck, man, don't touch that thing either.
Yeah.
Don't even let that thing within contact.
And it's a thing. Like, my girlfriend was bugging me for the longest time. Like, how can you not think raccoons are cute? And I'm like, I'm sorry, no. And then I've had other people that like, oh, they're dressed like a bandit. And I'm like, oh yeah, because everything's bandits have done has been fucking adorable. You know, all that raping and pillaging and robbing trains. That's pretty cute, huh? You fucking idiot, Momo. Shut up.
Chris
God
is
damn
angry.
it.
They had hands.
So-
I didn't know they had hands. You guys know they had hands?
So I was talking with my girlfriend, and the other day, like outside of her work, she works at like a condo, like expensive condo building as a concierge in Vancouver. And one of the people had like a raccoon chase them, grab the dog from their hands and kill their dog, and was like biting at them. And then I guess the dog kind of...
Just gonna have this playing in the
I
background.
don't know why you're putting fucking raccoons.
We just have
That's
raccoons are
hilarious.
awesome playing in the background while Chris is shit talking.
Raccoons are awesome. Somebody punt that raccoon. But think if that thing wants to run up your leg. Fuck
Yeah.
that thing. Fuck that thing. Oh, look at it.
And it's not like...
Look at it, little sweetheart.
Listen, it's not like
He's on the treadmill.
they can't be cool animals, but they can be fucking vicious. And I'm not talking like a domesticated, I'm talking a wild raccoon.
We're not talking these raccoons.
They are vicious fucking animals.
Raccoon has
vicious.
seen some shit.
So, like, apparently what had happened is the lady started running away. The raccoon went and swam through the pond to cut her off at the door.
Really?
Yeah.
He was just hunting her?
Yeah, they are vicious fucking
It's a birthday
animals.
party for a raccoon. Are you kidding me?
Who owns raccoons? People
I don't
own
know.
weird
Yeah,
shit.
oh, yeah,
apparently.
People are getting
Hey,
pigs
who
all
owns
the time
fucking
now.
cheetahs? All right, like what the fuck are we talking about right now?
What about a skunk? Do you think anyone's ever bought a skunk and it's like, I want a skunk? Well, that just seems like the worst
I know
idea.
somebody has, but
Yes,
they're the exception,
you
not
can
the rule. It's,
you can domesticate a lot of animals.
you can't,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And the thing about
Wow.
the thing about skunks is skunks are not, they aren't vicious creatures. You know, you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. They aren't gonna run up and fucking make you stink. You know, it's.
I don't even think I've ever seen one in my entire life. To be brutally honest.
See, I live in Vancouver, and
There's a lot
there
of
are
skunks
tons
down
of
there.
skunks and tons of raccoons.
That's crazy.
And I would much rather walk by a skunk than a raccoon.
Really?
Because I know that skunk isn't going to attack me. And I know as long as I'm not frightening or threatening that skunk, I'm not going to get sprayed either. I've walked beside skunks and went, yo, don't spray me. I'm just walking by. And you'll see that skunk look at me like, what the fuck's going to happen? And then I just walked by. But like,
What's a respectable skunk?
I'm across the street from a raccoon and the thing starts fucking chasing me. Like, dude, fuck raccoons.
He's probably
I
hungry.
fucking hate raccoons so much.
That was a good one though, right? That took like 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes of material on asking this guy about raccoons.
Oh,
You're
somebody in the house.
the,
Somebody's listening.
the amount of time. If you
Better
think that
retweet
was
this,
10
I gotta
minutes.
say.
I guess if we're including the cheetah shit, then yeah, but that was not 10 minutes.
If you could own any illegal animal, Gaskin, what would it be? We know it's not going to be a raccoon.
An illegal animal?
Well, an exotic, I don't know. If you could own any animal, get yourself something big to make up for your
I mean,
Is
smallness.
this on Twitter
If,
somewhere?
if I could own,
Yeah, the Justice
any,
Master did it.
if I can own
think I
any
retweeted
type
it.
of animal, I mean, I think I'd just have a cat. I like cats.
Just plain Jane a kitty cat?
You mean
Plain
like a
Jane. Yeah.
ocelot or like a lion?
No, like a
Kinda cat.
small
You want a house cat?
house cat. That's what I'd want. I
We
mean,
got
if
a-
That's a
you know,
terrible answer to that question. He asked you what illegal animal you want. You want a house cat?
yeah.
Oh, man.
Better
Now-
be like a Persian
okay.
house cat.
Now, if we were talking strictly like illegal, you cannot
Hardcore
actually
shit.
own this.
You can go reptiles. You can go mammals.
Bald eagle.
Insects.
Bald eagle
God damn, that'd be tough to tame.
immediately.
Huh?
Yeah, but I mean those
bald
fuckers.
You'd have to put
Did-
on full hockey gear
Do you ever,
Tame a bald
to
eagle?
fuck around with a bald
do,
eagle.
do you guys ever watch like the video of like golden eagles hunting
Yeah, on
in
cliff?
like Afghanistan?
No.
dude.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of birds
They
of prey
so
videos.
so they don't.
They're pretty crazy.
They run with people, but they aren't like domesticated. They can fly off if they fucking want. Like it's like a partnership between them and the person,
Symbiotic.
and they're like hunting wolves.
In
Yeah,
Afghanistan?
Yeah,
Why are they?
because that's where they're from. They have wolves in Afghanistan, like so. Oh, this one's Mongolia, but it's like
I've seen where they go up to the cliff edges
That thing's
and they hunt mountain
serious.
goats.
oh yeah,
So they'll fly along a cliff
They'll
and then
pick
they'll
up-
grab a mountain goat and
fucking
just
toss
huck
it.
it off the edge.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like when they have to put the fucking
The blinders
blindfold
on.
on. He's like, "What's going on here?
but it's like
Go time.
Is he on
Yeah.
mute? Look at the
This is
piece
the
of
calm
shit
before the
donkey
storm,
he's on.
boys."
He's on some piece of shit donkey. Just heading on out. Do you want some sound?
but like you watch, they'll find a wolf and then
Yeah, these guys are just putting on a clinic,
yeah, I think this is just like them
which
doing-
no one bought a ticket to. Oh, there's some kids there on the hill.
Well, this is like the Mongolian version
you
of
go.
like an air
There's a
show.
wolf. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! Look at him! Boom!
Whoa,
Yeah,
what's going on here? Oh, they just fucking. They're just
going
taking target practice.
on the wolves.
You don't kill it.
Getting a wolf.
You just knock it.
I think they're trying to kill it.
oh no, they killed it.
That's cool. I
Don't
wonder,
kill it.
do they work as protection too? Like, do they just wake up in the middle of the night? Like,
Just do laps.
if they hear howling and they're like, "This motherfucker," or do they wait for the people to
Just
give the
have them
go
like a
ahead?
sentry.
No, but I
Can they not do it without the toque?
I,
They have to
I
get
think
into the zone first.
I think I'd have like that type of like huge eagle, like a golden
Bird of
eagle.
prey is what you want
Yeah, I mean they aren't.
in
my-
a large facility.
yeah, it's not even my favorite type of bird.
Not in a
Like
2-bedroom.
I like hawks. I think hawks are like the coolest fucking birds just because of the speed that they can go and like the way that they hunt is fucking cool as shit. But like,
What
man,
would you go with, Stinger?
a bald eagle would be
I
awesome.
don't know. I'm sort of thinking, do I want somebody to sit and talk to, like a panda bear? I'm just like, "What's up, buddy?" Or do I want something
For purpose.
that's gonna be like, yeah,
Built for
really,
speed or
really,
power?
really efficient at something?
Right.
I don't do reptiles. Don't do insects.
No. Insect. If someone picks a fucking insect, I want a scorpion.
Dude, if you just have black widows hanging around your apartment, oof, good luck bringing anybody in there, man.
I think I would go with an ostrich.
Ostrich?
Yeah. Just because
For
they're cool.
transportation?
No, just cool to watch, man. Anytime I see an ostrich running, I laugh, so it would make my day better.
They got
Just owning
psycho
one.
in their eyes, though,
and
man. You
just
don't want to
making
look
it-
at that guy in the eye all the time.
Yeah, I'd just have like a good run for him. He'd just do a lap, and I'd say, "Hey, what's up, ostrich buddy?" Maybe we'd time like we'd get him doing some 40s.
You like the neck? Just you can get a llama.
Yeah, you know, I like the running of an ostrich. Have you ever seen that?
You're not
going
gonna saddle the ostrich, though.
No, I'm not. I just strictly for pleasure of watching him run. And they can run pretty fucking fast. And they're the funniest things when you see them run. Like, look at, if you ever seen a cheetah or an ostrich run, here's cheetahs chasing ostriches.
You know what I would want is one of those.
They get on their horse. And then after this, we had a request come in. A viewer wants to hear what you think about Bill Burr's new show, which is perfect. Because you were just talking about it.
F is for family.
Yes.
It's fucking terrific. It's like a King of the Hill if they didn't have a network to answer to,
Yeah.
and they could just curse and swear and like it's not like Family Guy or anything. It's
Yeah.
more of like a. I don't know. I feel like I've heard Bill Burr tell the stories before in one way or another,
Yeah.
and I think it's just sort of
I like it. It's his,
derivative of what it is.
like a lot of
he grew up
his
in.
podcast stuff.
Yeah, well,
or,
just
like,
telling stories, even
material.
like talking about his dad on stage and stuff, like.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's a good team of comedy writers.
Get going, ostrich.
In
he
that
doesn't
room?
even see him.
Oh, this guy's in trouble.
He
Big
doesn't
time
see-
trouble if he can get up to that neck.
Oh no, yeah, you are so vulnerable as an ostrich. Look at the ostrich.
Oh, look at him, eh? He's like, "See you, Larry." Oh, fuck. Why'd you rouse him? I said don't go over there. God damn it, Jim.
Oh no, I want to see full speed ostrich running. You got it. Oh,
Don't you fuck my wife. Just outruns him on the left. That's ballsy. He's not breaking stride yet, eh?
No.
Those little legs are going.
It's like 9 cheetahs jumping on him, not even breaking stride. I I don't think.
Look at him go.
I'm on the fence about F is for Family.
Okay. Why?
I think it's okay. I don't think it's bad. I think it's okay, but I think it's just okay. I'm enjoying it, yeah, but I don't think it's like. Just to me, it's like when I think of animated shows, like there is such a tough fucking. Like holding up a
Like
candle
a high
to
bar?
some of like the bar is so high.
Yeah,
Just-
if you think South Park or Family Guy, I mean, those shows are legendary.
South Park, Family
Purely
Guy,
legendary.
Simpsons, Futurama,
Yeah, Simpsons almost in a group of its own.
King of the Hill. Maybe you could consider up there.
Well, it's just not that show. Like South Park doesn't count either because South Park's an extremely important show, and I think Family Guy's the same way. Those people, they tackle issues, and doing that raises awareness. They're doing that on network television, and they don't back down. They do as much as they can do. I don't think this cartoon falls into that paradigm. I think it is more of a King of the Hill, more of a just a storytelling humor. That's it. We're not going to touch on anything crazy. It's not that philosophical of a show, but you can see the things that they're setting up. Like he's given his dad this thing where he always tells his kids he's going to put him through the fucking wall.
yeah.
So they're just working that into different joke devices. So he's like, listen, son, even if I started building walls for 40 years, I wouldn't have enough walls to fucking put you through. Just I'll put you through the fucking wall. Yeah. Every episode it comes up, sort of like I Hate You, Meg.
Yeah, that
kind of shit.
That scene on when they're outside, I swear to God, if you say that again, I'll put you through the fucking wall. We're outside, there are no walls. I'm gonna build one and then I'll put you the fuck through it.
Like, that's how South Park got famous at the beginning. It was killing Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
I swear every time. Oh my God!
That was
you killed Kenny.
That was part of.
Do they still do that?
No, I don't think they do it every episode.
Every once in a while, but not every episode.
Right.
They'll bring it back.
That was how I heard about South Park. It was a show that every show we somehow killed Kenny.
Well, it was just that they would swear, and I think they started that way.
Well, that
Like,
was
And that you could reproduce South Park with Microsoft Paint. Those were the first things I learned how to paint on Microsoft Paint. Was all the characters.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
You
like
just had to-
sketch.
Yeah, you just had to drag.
It was like
drag a
something you
couple
would
circles.
cut out.
Well,
graphics.
that's how it was originally done, was on cardboard,
Yeah.
and then they started using computer graphics to do it after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know if you guys seen the documentary that Comedy Central did.
6 Days to Air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking fantastic documentary because it's right at the time that they were winning the Tony Award.
And it really, for Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
And really revealing of the process. Like it was.
Yeah.
You didn't get to sit in the room, but you saw what they were doing, and like how Trey Parker just gets a whiteboard and a marker, and says something, and then Matt Stone says something, and Bill Hader's in the room.
Yeah,
There'll be like one other
Bill
writer.
Hader's not saying anything. He's
Yeah.
just laughing like, that sounds good.
But obviously he's being modest too, right? Because what an amazing mind to have in the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
That guy's not there for nothing.
Absolutely.
But that show's super important, and those guys are 100% authentic.
Well, and it's like even,
Those guys are authentic,
Yeah.
man. That shit they did when they went to the Grammys or whatever, or the Oscars,
Yeah.
and they were on acid, dressed up as women, made an absolute mockery in front of the most powerful people in their industry. People that could affect them if they truly were, and they showed up on LSD, high as fuck, dressed as women, wearing like former women's dresses, like the famous ones from last year and shit, like J-Lo's green one where kids are out and shit.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, we're going to be flying when we get there. So whatever happens, don't address the fact that we're dressed as women. And they just wouldn't talk about it. All they did was like, oh, well, it's interesting. What are you wearing? And they're like, oh, it's just really nice to be here. And it's such an amazing night. And they're just patronizing these people over and over. High as fuck. I was like, that's next level. That's you're completely.
Well, you give a fuck levels. Dude.
You're legendary in all books that are ever written. That's.
Here's the thing, though, is if you really pay attention to that 6 Days to Air episode, I mean, you can tell that they take more than 6 days on one episode, but that was one where they were so busy with Book of Mormon that coming back, they only had 6 days to air that first fucking episode of that season.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at the whiteboard, you see ideas for like the next few episodes on there and arcs for those episodes.
Yeah.
But it's like they batted out that first episode of that season in 6 days. And it was all because on day 2 of those 6 days, like Trey walked in and was like, I had to fucking update iTunes again. I had to update that fucking thing every time. Do you ever read that shit? And then it was just like, all of a sudden, Matt was like, hey, what about if like...
It goes from there.
We go
and
from
then
there.
You sign there, and then what you sign up for is becoming part of a human centipede.
Yeah.
When you update iTunes, and then they're sewing your lips to somebody's asshole. Hilarious. But they're very conscious of being absurd.
Yeah.
They're keeping that thread throughout, not pretending to be a serious political show, but still satiring those subjects and sticking with the theme they've had since day one, saying fucking shit and doing gross stuff, killing Kenny and all those things. Mm-hmm. Where your parents don't get it, they're like, what is this stupid shit? It's cutout art. All they're doing is swearing, but it's like when you see it, it's beautiful. As art, it's just beautiful.
And you're right, because it's absurd. It's absolutely that. I remember talking with, I don't know if you guys are aware of who Jason Rouse is. He's a Canadian comic, lives out in Europe right now, kind of splits his time between there and Los Angeles. Very dark, very funny. But some people would be like, oh, how could he get away with saying something like that? And it's like, well, because it's not fucking true. Because it's absurd.
And another thing about South Park is they get away with all that shit because it's a little cartoon.
Yeah.
You can't write that stuff for a live action multi-camera show.
So like Jason Rouse for a while was doing a line, like he'd be 10, 20 minutes into his act and then would stop and then would go, all right, maybe we should pull back a bit. And then would turn and go, so I'm fisting this ngung. And it's like... It's just so fucking absurd that it's like if people were to really be like, this is so offensive, and it's like, but it's absurd. There's no way that is true by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and most like a Jeselnik.
Yeah,
it's like most guys are just trolling with it at this point because it gets publicity on both sides. Like you're always gonna be innocent for the most part telling those jokes, but if you can also get that activist crowd riled up, it's only good for you. It really is.
Oh yeah.
You just have to be able to live with some shitty internet comments.
Yeah, but it's like I've got a couple jokes that like take dark, dirty turns, and then it's like just and it's jokes that like people, especially people in the industry, are like, man, that's a great fucking joke, because you just take it and then twist it and then twist it again and again and again so that people don't know where you're going with that joke.
I thought James Kennedy did a really good job of that.
I like James is very funny.
He's got that joke about like just about East Hastings Street. Then he's like, I want to get serious for a minute. And he gets like super serious and talks about like the problem with all the homeless and stuff. And then like people stood up and like started applauding about it. But then he just shits on it like right after, and you could see the people felt like they were betrayed, like they got sucked into this thing, and then this guy just did all of that just to shit on it at the end. Yeah, and it looked like it almost pissed people off in the crowd. They're like, I just stood up and clapped because I thought you were sending a powerful message, and you just turned it to Shitsville at the end. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, you were being disingenuous the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means. So it's disrespect.
I want to know, how did your show go?
Last night? Friday.
Yeah.
That was good. That was a good show, man. It was fun. It was hard work in a circle stage.
Yeah.
Like just because you always had your back to someone when you're delivering punchlines, which I've never done.
The only time I've ever worked around was in a wrestling ring.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Did you swing off the ropes at some point?
You did stand-up in a wrestling ring?
Yeah, I was doing stand-up in a wrestling ring.
That's wild.
Just the way that the place was set up, but the sound system was so shitty that no one could hear me, so it was just 10 minutes of me bombing. And then, like, I get backstage, and they're like, so, yeah, we don't really have money. And I was like, no, you're giving me the money that you owe me right now. Yeah. Like... I'm not playing this bullshit game. Yeah. I can count the number of people. I know you've made money on this show.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to try and pay me in Coke? Guess what? I don't do Coke, and I don't know who to sell Coke to. I don't know what Coke's worth. You're giving me fucking cash.
Just peddling that outside, eh? Yeah, look what I got. I thought it'd be funny to try scalp tickets to your own show. Like if you know your show is selling out, just buy a couple, then go stand out front. Hey, you want it?
Yeah.
Sorry, these.
So, I mean, so you worked the round. That's pretty interesting. How many how many people does that place seat? Like,
I think their capacity can do 180 or something, right? It's a
Okay.
nightclub, right? Strip club.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think you get a lot of people in there. But
Yeah.
we didn't come close to selling out.
is the pole removable?
No, the pole was there the whole
Oh,
time.
it was there
But
the
they
whole
gave
time?
us a cordless mic.
Okay.
So that was fine because that was I noticed though I had to stop myself at a point because I was almost just there doing laps. Like I was literally just walking.
But that's pretty much what you have to do when you're doing the round.
Yeah, but I should have done like maybe try walking the other way, like stop a bit. Like there was one spot you could kind of go to that you could get most of the audience with your punchlines if you went to like the one corner and looked out.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Have you seen Vicious Circle?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course, yeah. I
don't-
went and watched Dane Cook do
It's-
that live in Vancouver.
It's not a great special, but like watching someone like that play the round,
Yeah.
or Louis' special, Oh My God, his last HBO one,
Yeah,
like that's him working round
yeah.
as well.
Well, Kevin Hart, didn't he do that Philadelphia Eagles stadium?
Yeah, I think
Was
so.
it round?
Well,
I don't
he
think
did
it was in the
football-
round.
He did the football stadium. He sold it out, I thought.
Well, he's from Philadelphia too.
No, I know, but like obviously.
But even when they do like Madison Square Garden, like I think Louis did a round stage there. But like the Aziz one, like it looked like half of the seats weren't even being used.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like just down on the floor. They set up a stage, and then it was like half the bowl, like just half of it all the way up. That's what it looked like anyway.
Okay. So
That type of thing, like look at those seats in the back, right? Like they're just not being used.
Right. So he didn't do a round.
That's their
Yeah, but-
setup.
And then they
But
just-
George Carlin, 7 words you can't say on TV, man. Like that's
But-
work doing the round in the fucking.
how many
what
people
is
can
it,
they fit? 'Cause
70?
He fit 53,000 in here. How many does this stadium hold? Like, do they hold?
Oh yeah, they hold like 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Football stadiums
But see,
are
that's what I
massive.
thought. But
But
I
it- but it's
thought
like
with all the
even-
people on the ground though too.
But the thing is even if you're cutting off those sides, I mean, that's what a wrestling
That's a
setup
giant
would
show,
be.
for sure.
like a WWE setup would be like that too, where they've got the stage and
I
then
think
part
Larry
of
the
the
Cable
back
Guy's
cut
even
off.
done bigger shows than that.
Yeah, but
'Cause
Larry,
he sells out like these college stadiums
Right.
and gets those NASCAR people there.
Yeah.
They fucking come
Yeah.
from all over the place, man.
but I mean that's
The
just
biggest following in North America. The biggest thing is like Michigan State football. I think is the highest attendance for anything.
oh, they just have the biggest stadium.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get 100. They sell it, but they get 113,000 people or
Yeah.
something a game.
Yeah, well, their students definitely always show up, and
Mm-hmm.
they have like a bunch of fans. Yeah,
yeah.
college football's crazy big in the fucking states, though.
But it's also like NASCAR is huge in the States too,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and that brings
Especially you
in-
want to tour through that Bible Belt, man. Larry the Cable
And-
Guy
and
can
that's
make the
this.
fucking gross domestic product of a small country
yeah.
touring
Yeah.
through the Bible Belt
Yeah.
if he just plays all the right stadiums.
So you did. How much time did you end up doing?
Probably close to a half an hour.
Yeah.
I didn't time it. I got to start doing that, man. I got to start recording my sets or something.
Why are you not like we've had this conversation?
I know. I don't know. I don't record. I haven't been recording, but it was probably. I know when I was doing it at home, it was probably about 26 minutes, 26 and a half
Yeah.
without laughs or anything or any crowd work. So you probably claim close to half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like these shows tonight that I'll probably only be doing around a half hour on each one,
Right.
just because of the way the setup is,
Yeah.
which will be fine. I think next time that I come through town, I'm gonna try and do a show at the casino and do a full hour
Right.
and maybe tape it. I don't know, but
That'd be
I'll try
baller.
something.
Oh yeah, we should plug McGuire's thing.
Oh yeah. Well, when is it?
I think it's on the
28th.
28th.
28th,
It's
yeah.
the 28th.
Night of the
It's world
28th.
tour at
The Art Space?
Art Space. Yeah, you get tickets at Art Space, right?
Yeah,
So you
I
got
think at Books and Company.
December 28th.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Take the
that's
cards or the Christmas money out of your cards
like that's
and go buy Mike McGuire tickets.
that's where I taped Lambda Mail
Oh, yeah?
and Brian taped Bloody Savage.
Cool spot.
That it's a great spot. I fought with Alex over it when I did my fucking New Year's Eve show
That show
Right.
right there behind you.
last year, and it was like a fantastic. I mean, not a lot of people showed up. I ended up losing money on the show, which was kind of funny because Brian was like, "So, like, how much do we
Yeah,
get
sorry
paid?"
about that
And
90 bucks.
I told him, I was like, dude, do you understand? The idea was if we had 30 people in here, you all would have got paid and I would have made money, and I would have broke even, and I would have been happy with that. I go, but there is not 30 people in here. So don't get pissy with me. That was the deal. It wasn't you're getting paid regardless.
Yeah, I had fun, man. It was good. I like that
But-
they have a green room there, right?
Well, and that's the thing is like we literally argued about that every step of the way, and I was like, I've performed there enough times to know how great that
No,
space is.
I wasn't complaining. Are you talking about me and you argued?
Yeah,
No, I didn't complain about it at all. I said you're doing it on a shitty night. Like you wanted people to be at a comedy show through midnight.
it's not a shitty night. Every fucking comedy club does that, dummy.
Do the show at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. Well, obviously it didn't
No.
work out. How can you say it wasn't a shitty night when you just talk about how the show went to shit?
Yeah,
If
but
you did the show at 8 o'clock and you're done by 10 or 10:30, and then you're downtown, people got to have fun, go to a bunch of laughs, and then they could leave and go to their New Year's Eve party or go to the bar or
the
whatever
show
they
went.
want to do.
The show went
People
to shit.
don't want to spend listening to people tell jokes through midnight. People want to see a ball drop. They want to see fireworks. They want to see something. They don't want to see a guy on stage saying 10, 9. Unless you're in an arena with fireworks about to go off after. That's what I think.
Or there's a sick party going on right there at the time.
Yeah.
Do they
See-
serve booze at the art space?
That is, you can, yeah, we did, yeah. We gave away, like, champagne.
Had a lady walk out of the show on my cancer pit. Never felt more like a comedian there. Sorry about your $90.
Walk the guy. Walk the broad.
Whatever.
That's okay. We're at our hour mark anyway. We'll probably shut her down here and go start getting ready for our days here. I gotta go have some dinner in a bit.
Yeah.
I'll keep going. I got 20 minutes. I gotta go straight to where I'm going to. So. Oh, there's people making out. Oh no, that's not what they're doing.
No, that's not.
Wait, are they fucking? What's going on?
Apparently, there's some video of Putin. And they're analyzing his gait as he walks.
Wait, I don't want to talk about that.
And they said he has a gunslinger gait. It's common
What do you
about
mean his gait?
his gait, like the way his arms move and shit when he walks, like his stride.
Like
and
he's a fucking cowboy.
Well,
type.
it's a gunslinger gait. It's indicative of people who have a lot of military training. And what happens is his right arm doesn't move. It's like it sways noticeably less than his left. So
because it's ready to grab the gun from
right.
the
And some
holster.
people think, well, what if he has a rotator cuff injury? And it's like, yeah, maybe. But other guys have this gait, like it's a real thing, and it's meant that you know some shit.
Right.
And it's like this guy is keeping it all together. Like normally when a guy's that maniacal,
What does
somebody
maniacal
kills him.
mean?
A maniac.
Oh.
So somebody steps up and kills him. And like that one guy who was his critic, who he shot dead in the street, like that guy thought he got too famous that if Putin killed him, everyone would know it was him and
Right.
nothing would happen. So he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he thought he was above it.
Yeah.
No, shot like a dog in the street, and
Yeah.
nobody said shit.
Yeah.
Shit. I think there's way more to that guy than anybody gets
Well,
to
didn't
know.
Putin used to be on like the special forces, like
Head
he
of
was
the
a spy.
KGB. He was apparently the head
Yeah.
of the KGB.
Like he was a spy, so obviously he's got that training, right?
Yeah. You know who doesn't? Obama. Nobody's a bad motherfucker like that and running the show.
Yeah.
You have to suck so much cock to be the president. You can't be the man. You're not the man.
Yeah.
You're just the guy on TV.
Yeah.
Putin's the man, and he's the guy calling all the shots.
Yeah.
It's next level shit, man. He's the closest thing to a supervillain
Well,
we've had since Hitler. It's fucking exciting. I like it.
it's not like the president of the United States can't call shots. It's the fact that he has to be the likable face in front of everything. So, I mean, it's always like the chief of staff who is the person who really gets shit done, which is why when you hear about people who are chiefs, like who have that job as chief of staff for presidents, they are always like, oh, that person, they sound like a cunt. And it's like, no, because that person has to try to get everything done that the president wants done, but has to fight every fucking lobbyist, has to fight every lawmaker on every side, has to like, and then has to
Well,
tell
it's a
people
total
like,
bogged down bureaucracy.
yes,
Yeah, and there's weird games that get played, and you're right, because the American people are living at least under the illusion of freedom.
yeah,
Way more than the Russian people are.
Yeah.
They don't pretend that this oligarchy is going to go their way and lean towards what the people want. You just don't protest there. Otherwise, you get that pussy riot thing going on where you're just playing music in the street and they come up and start beating the shit out of you.
yeah.
Like, that's what happens there. And there's no, like, people standing in the street protesting that afterwards, like some sort of Ferguson deal. There's nobody trying to stand up to that. They're like, fuck, man, don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just drink vodka and fucking stare at the gray. And we'll get through this thing.
Well, Russians are so weird, though, because every Russian says that Russia's the best place on earth. Do you think they're just brainwashed? Or like, I have to say this or I'm going to get in shit?
I don't think so. I've only
No.
heard that from famous Russians, that's all.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I bet they do well. You got money in Russia, for sure. Right. It's a fun place to be.
I think the thing is people who are Russians, they have a very, very strong sense of national identity and what their country is, and a very large sense of pride for that.
That's what I mean.
I mean, have you seen Red Army?
No.
The Netflix documentary about Fetisov trying to get into the NHL.
What era was he?
90s. Late 80s,
Fetisov?
90s, yeah.
I don't remember Fetisov. I remember that McGillney was the first one to make it,
Yeah.
and Fedorov was the first one drafted,
Yeah.
and then Harlamov
Right,
was the first guy who was like probably NHL caliber, but wasn't able to come play.
So you just clicked on the image.
Yeah, I realize that.
So yeah, it follows Fedosov. Fedosov played for the Red Wings.
Slava
He was
Fedosov.
on that fucking 5 rushing Red Wing line where they would just like pass and have like these ridiculous passing schemes that no one could fucking deal with.
Yeah, that was like Fedorov, Konstantinov.
Yeah.
Kozlov.
Kozlov.
Harlemov?
Who knows? No, Harlamov was the guy in the Summit Series.
Yeah.
He was the first time anybody knew that there was a guy over there that can actually do it. I don't remember Fedosov that much.
Slava Fedosov.
Yeah, he was great. But like
Ice hockey defense.
the deal that he had to go through where
Do you
like
this when they bring this up every once in a while when
Because
Wikipedia's just like, hey, we need some money. This thing's going to shut down. Just throw us $5.
Well, it works apparently.
Yeah.
so
For now.
So basically, the way that it used to work in Russia is when you played hockey, you were drafted into the army, and you were part of the army. That's why they called the Russian hockey team the Red Army.
Yeah, it was a way to pay them.
So
it was a way to pay them as hockey players. That's why everyone was so upset.
No, it was a way to assert dominance over other countries in the world because it wasn't.
Not really, because
That's absolutely what it fucking was. I don't know what you're talking about right now. That is absolutely what it was, you dolt. Absolutely what it was.
Do you want to know why people were so mad about it? Because at the Olympics, you're not allowed professionals, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what it was is Russia had a way that they could pay their players.
They weren't paying their players. They were part of the fucking army. They put them in like a fucking house in the middle of nowhere. They weren't allowed to see their wives. They weren't really getting paid for that shit.
And they would train for hockey.
And they just trained for hockey.
Yes, and they'd get paid money through the army.
Yeah, but then
then they weren't being paid as hockey players, so they were allowed to be part of the Olympics. That's why Russia won the Olympics all the time. Because we couldn't send our professionals, but everyone said they're basically sending professional hockey players because they're taking their best players.
Okay, but what about
military players?
What about when the Russian teams were coming in and playing NHL teams in the 80s and spanking them like 7-1, 7-2?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about
Yeah, of course you don't fucking know anything about that because you're just talking shit right now.
No, I'm telling you about how they got into the Olympics with their top players.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. That is exactly what I was talking about.
I think both you guys might have motives because yours makes sense and yours makes sense.
I don't get it.
Well, you're saying that they sent professionals to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And he's saying he got to keep their professionals at home, so when they went to play other countries, they could fuck everybody up.
Yeah.
And on the sly, because nobody knew how they could play, how well they could play. They had secret plays and secret training methods and all that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they both make sense, boys.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what the fuck that was.
But what I was trying to say is because of that whole thing, they in the whole NHL deal and having Russians defeat these NHL teams like it was nothing because they were so good at working as a fucking team.
Until they went to Philadelphia. They walked off the fucking ice, those Ruski pussies. Woo! Ran them right out of the fucking rink. It was really more of a wrestling match than it was a fucking hockey game. It was insane. They're like, okay, come on over, play the Flyers. Schultze's on a fucking six-pack right now.
But they like that Russian government fucked with Fedosov so much, and like the army fucked with him so
Dude,
much.
even if Jenny Malkin
wouldn't let him leave, would not
sneak.
Yeah,
like that's 07, 08.
Yeah.
Like that's
Would
shit's,
not.
they're
Really?
still running that
Yes,
shit. Yeah,
yeah.
he had,
Why
like
did he have to
sneak
sneak
out.
out?
yeah.
Because they just won't let you out of the border. Like
But-
he had a contract with a Russian team.
How did Ovi get?
But that wasn't
I don't think he ever played. in
that wasn't the
KHL.
same thing. That was not the same thing because now they have the KHL, which is different than the Red Army Hockey Club.
It was probably a little
So-
different.
Oh,
But he
it's
still
way
had to
different.
just void a contract where he's like, guess what? I'm
Yeah.
not going back, and I'm going to play for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but the
I just got to
difference
get to Pittsburgh.
the difference with Fedosov though is with Fedosov it wasn't he had to find a way to void a KHL contract. It was he had to find a way to get discharged from the army
Right.
and allowed to do that. And it's like they let
That stuff still goes on in certain countries.
but they let a couple guys go in and then they were only allowed to keep $1,000 of their paycheck, but they had to send the rest back to Russia.
Well,
Like that shit was going on.
Between the Russian Federation and the mob, I think you're pretty tight, eh? Like, isn't that what Beret's deal
They
was?
used to be. Yeah.
No,
Dude.
I don't know if they're tight. I'm just saying
Dude,
you're
I saw a
probably pretty
picture
tight for
of
cash. Anywhere you're making money,
Putin's
you're either giving
fucking-
it to the Russian Federation or you're giving it to the mob.
Yeah, Putin's 63rd birthday. He was playing puck. And he's
Yeah.
out there with Beret
Yeah.
and Fedorov. And they're like, yeah, we're going to get to know this guy.
So like Fedosov though was talking about that whole thing in that documentary, like all the ways that they fucked him and that they took away like his prime, like what would have been the prime of his career, and was just like destroyed by all of that shit, but was still like, yeah, Russia's the best country in the world. You know what I mean? Like they have that
you think-
sense of national pride.
Do you think he's gonna get killed if he says anything else, or do you think it's just straight up that fuck it?
No,
like,
he
I
straight
like
up
it?
believes that. It's
Yeah.
it's like people in America who sit there and go,
Yeah,
USA is
yeah.
the greatest country. Like it's the same thing. Guess what? I'm never gonna say Canada is the greatest country because I think saying something like that is so goddamn stupid in its own right. I think the whole idea of countries and wars and all of that is fucking stupid
I'm with you on that
in
one.
its own right. That it's like whenever someone says, "Oh, I live in the best country," I just go, "You should never procreate ever. You are a fucking moron."
Well, yeah, you've sipped some sort of Kool-Aid. It's okay to be happy about your country. Like
Absolutely.
when the Syrians showed up
Yep.
the other week, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, I'm really proud to be Canadian right now. Like, this is a crazy moment. Look at this. Like, we're throwing these. Not only are they showing up, we're throwing them a fucking party here.
I remember when
Like,
that
this is a real show, like a real dog and pony show. Trudeau's there,
Yeah.
fucking shaking
Guy
hands.
at the bill we were
I
talking.
remember when that happened in '93 with Bosnia. And the same thing.
But
How old were you
imagine
then?
what do you think's gonna happen? The first
I mean, it wasn't-
Syrian who gets killed over here.
The first Syrian that gets killed.
Yeah, just like say it's a complete accident. You're driving down the road, texting or something, and accidentally run one of these Syrian refugees over. Oh boy, you're gonna have some answers. Do you think that could be enough to trigger a war?
It's like killing an albino
That
moose.
if someone out there just accidentally ends up killing one of these Syrian refugees, will that trigger like a ISIS Muslim war?
No,
And you're just like, oh, fuck.
certainly not.
No.
They stack them like fucking bubblegum over there, man.
Yeah.
They don't worry about dead Syrians, especially somewhere across the Atlantic. They're like, oh, really? Rahad died? Oh, boy.
But,
What are we gonna
could
do
ISIS
now?
use it as a tool to get them going?
First of all,
They make excuses like professionals these days.
you know that they wouldn't even get that news. Like they'd find out 7 years later. Did you hear he died?
Through
Oh,
Morse
when
code.
was that? Like, yeah, like
I was listening to that Molly Crabapple girl talk. She goes to war zones, and she said that in these places where they're still living like in huts and wearing genie clothes and all that shit, the number one commodity over there is a Wi-Fi hotspot. They can offer you Wi-Fi hotspots.
Yeah.
And these people that seem to be centuries behind use this one device because it's a way to just stay in touch.
Yeah.
I think it really is so important that people spend all the money they have on it. Like they get water, a bit of food, and then they're just thinking about Wi-Fi hotspots.
Yeah.
I mean, think about being in a war zone and somehow being able to step out of it through some technological means just for a second and probably provide like some crazy relief just to play Angry Birds for 2 seconds. And you're like, what do these birds have to be so angry about? They're not getting bombed. They're not getting lit up on the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, it should be the pigs who are pissed off because they're getting bombed.
I saw that picture of it's like war zones. It shows them like back then and then after. And you're like, that's fucked, man. It's just like their cities just get turned into rubble.
War zones, man. Yeah, and
so
it's
shitty.
like these Syrian people are running from that, and you're like, "Ooh, not over here, buddy." It's like you're gonna turn people back to that. You'd be running even faster if that was going on right here. Like, think about what it takes for you to fucking get up and get out. Everything. Leave what you can't carry.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here because we can't be here, man. That it has to be certain death.
Yeah.
I gotta get going in a few minutes.
Me too.
I totally wanted to talk about that post with you and the kid, Alex.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know about that.
Oh, just how I went to go see the kid?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, what was it? The kid, his parents got a hold of me because they had a son who's he's 13, and he showed an interest in stand-up comedy, and I guess, I don't know if it was an assignment at school or something, but somehow it came up like, what do you want to be when you're older? And it was a stand-up comedian. It was what the kid wanted to be. So then his music teacher, or it might not have been his music, his sister takes music lessons.
Yeah.
And I know the sister who teaches them.
Oh, okay.
So she told them, and then I also know that daddy got a hold of me, and then I ended up going out there and just hanging out with him for an afternoon, and we wrote some jokes and just talked and hung out. That's good. But he wants to try get, I want to try get him out to a couple shows. He'd like to see them first. I told him we'll be able to get him, like I can find an open mic somewhere. Yeah. And me and him can write like 5 minutes together, and then I could get him up and he could go and do his jokes. But I think he'd rather to start just come out and see a show.
I mean, I'd love to see McGuire get upset, but if that's a kid that wants to even remotely try it, that's the type of show that you give him 5 minutes on, because there's no restriction to who's allowed in that venue. There's no, you know what I mean? Where? In art space.
Oh, right.
Because it's not a licensed venue.
Right.
But I mean, even, I guess, technically with the way that licensed venues work nowadays, you can have children. Yeah. In like, as long as it's not a cabaret.
Yeah, I think they have to pay. I heard they have to pay extra money to have that license. Yeah. Like to get, and a lot of the pubs don't pay for it because like this isn't worth it to us.
Yeah, like as far as I know here in Prince George, the Shooters across from the CN Center has that. Yeah. Because, you know, after the games, you could bring your family there and have
have dinner,
a bite to eat.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never tried to bring a kid into a bar, but
I found a baby before.
But I know the Black Donkey Cafe, they do open mic and that type of stuff. Okay. And it's a 24-hour cafe, and they don't serve alcohol, so the minors are allowed. So that's kind of where we're looking to start there. Get one there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
What about you, Stang? Are you like doing spots around? Like, what the fuck?
Not lately, no.
Why not?
I don't know. I should get back into it sometimes next year.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I mean, what options do you have?
Yeah. No, I'll definitely be getting back to it at some point.
Yeah. Cool. Well, should we call that a show or what?
Yeah, man.
That's good. If any of you are listening live right now, we got Chris Gaskin. Thanks for coming out, Chris.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
And we got a show tonight. Chris is headlining at Wings and Things. First show starts at 8 o'clock, I believe. Yeah. If there's enough interest, they look at doing a second show at 10. Shit. Yeah. 10 o'clock until midnight. So get your asses down there. And
both shows will be 70 to 80 minutes. They'll be tight fucking shows.
Also got who else knows about Derek Zantolis? Is that his name?
Derek Zantolis is my buddy from Kamloops. Yep. He grew up here with me. Yep. And he started out around the same time as I did, but you know his life kind of took over for that. So he's been getting back into it. and he was like, "Hey, we should do a tour
Yeah.
at some point, like before Christmas." And I was like, "That's not a lot of time to plan it."
Right.
And he was like, "Well, we should do it." And I was like, "Well, I'm not really doing anything else right now, so
Might as
yeah,
well.
why not? Why not? We'll see if we could at the very least break even and have a good time." And
Yeah.
yeah, we did a show in Kamloops, which was a lot of fun, and 2 shows in Kelowna, which were a lot of fun as well. So tonight will be good. Tonight will be good as well. Like it's been a lot of fun working with the guy, and he's very like hard redneck, so he'll fit in performing here perfectly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll see you guys down there.
Merry
Stinger.
Christmas, you filthy animals. Take care of each other.
See you guys. Have a good night.